December Miracles Day 28 is not a date on a calendar, it is a spiritual intersection where mercy, timing, and alignment collide, and I want you to understand from the depth of your spirit that God does not work with days the way men work with days. God works with seasons, instructions, and spiritual positioning. Many people think miracles are random interventions, but miracles are regulated by laws, and whenever those laws are understood and honored, results become predictable. There are moments in a believer's journey when heaven compresses time, when years of waiting are summarized into one encounter, and those moments do not come because the year is ending, but because something has been completed in the Spirit. Day 28 is symbolic of nearing completion, of cycles closing, of spiritual accounts being audited, and tonight you must understand that God is not just interested in blessing you. He is interested in aligning you so that what He releases does not destroy you. There are miracles that excite people, and there are miracles that establish people, and the latter requires wisdom, endurance, and preparation. Many prayed for open doors but did not prepare for the responsibility behind those doors. Many asked for elevation but ignored the weight that comes with it. In this season, God is not just answering prayers, He is answering patterns. He is responding to consistency, to sacrifice, to obedience that nobody applauded. Heaven keeps records, and one of the greatest deceptions of our generation is to think that silence from God means absence. Silence often means processing. When a seed is buried, it looks forgotten, but it is actually under divine supervision. There are people listening to me who think this year swallowed their prayers, but I came to announce that nothing you committed to God in faith was wasted. Understand this mystery. God often waits until human strength expires before He manifests His power, so that no flesh can take glory. That is why many miracles happen when hope looks unreasonable. If you still had alternatives, you might not depend fully. If you still had options, you might not surrender completely. So God allows the terrain to narrow until your only confidence is Him. This is not cruelty. This is mercy disguised as pressure. When God wants to introduce you to a new level of trust, He removes familiar supports. That is why some relationships had to leave, some doors had to close, some resources had to dry up, not because you were wrong, but because you were about to learn God in a new dimension. December miracles are not only about receiving, they are about discerning. Many miss their miracle because it comes in a form they did not expect. Naaman almost missed his healing because the instruction offended his pride. Miracles often come packaged with instructions that challenge logic, ego, or comfort. Obedience is the womb that carries miracles to manifestation. When God speaks, He is not just informing you, He is inviting you into partnership. Every miracle is produced by divine power and human obedience. That is why faith without corresponding action remains dormant. You must be willing to act on what God says even when it does not make immediate sense. There are people who are anointed but not aligned, gifted but not positioned, prayerful but not discerning. Alignment is the silent key that determines speed. When a thing is aligned, it moves with minimal resistance. Many have been praying against resistance when they should be praying for alignment. When you are aligned with God's will, even opposition becomes a tool. Even delays become lessons, even disappointments become instructions. Nothing is wasted when alignment is present. That is why in this season, God is not just changing your story, He is correcting your posture. He is teaching you how to stand, how to wait, how to move, and how to discern timing. Miracles respond to honor. Honor is recognizing and responding to the value of divine order. When you dishonor a channel, you disconnect from the flow assigned to it. God works through systems, through people, through principles. Those who understand this do not trivialize divine arrangements. They discern seasons, respect instructions, and stay within God's framework. Many want results but despise process, yet process is what prepares you to sustain results. A miracle that comes without preparation can become a burden. That is why God sometimes delays what you want until He finishes what you need. There is a difference between waiting on God and wasting time. Waiting on God is active. It is full of prayer, learning, adjustment, and expectation. Wasting time is passive. It is full of complaint, comparison, and anxiety. Heaven responds to expectation that is anchored in faith, not desperation. Desperation pressures God. Faith partners with God. When you believe, you are not trying to convince God. You are aligning yourself with what He has already said. Faith does not create reality. It agrees with divine reality. That is why faith comes by hearing, because hearing aligns your spirit with God's intent. Some miracles come suddenly, but suddenly does not mean unprepared. Suddenly means the visible manifestation happened quickly, but the preparation was gradual and often hidden. Joseph suddenly was prepared by years of integrity, patience, and faithfulness in obscurity. When the time came, nothing could stop it. This is why you must not despise hidden seasons. Obscurity is not rejection, it is insulation. God hides precious things until the right time. If everything in your life became public too early, it could be destroyed by premature exposure. There are people under the sound of my voice who have been carrying prophetic words for years, and you are wondering if God has forgotten. Hear me, prophetic words do not expire, but they must be interpreted correctly. Some words are conditional, some are progressive, some are seasonal. Discernment is required to know what to do with what God has said. A word without understanding can frustrate you. That is why God often sends teaching before manifestation. Light always precedes power. Understanding gives direction to expectation. December miracles also involve restoration, but restoration does not always mean returning to the same place. Sometimes it means returning with wisdom. God restores better, not just back. He redeems time by upgrading capacity. When God restores, He heals the damage done on the inside, not just the loss on the outside. Many want God to fix circumstances without fixing mindsets. Yet mindset is the environment where miracles live. If your thinking remains small, even big blessings will feel heavy. Expansion must happen within before it can last without. There is a grace that comes upon people at the end of seasons, a grace to finish strong, to close cycles well, to settle accounts spiritually. That grace is available now. It empowers you to forgive what hurt you, to release what failed you, to let go of what distracted you. Bitterness blocks miracles because it anchors you to the past. Faith requires mobility. You cannot step into new things while holding old wounds. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was right. It is saying you will not allow it to control your future. Freedom is expensive, but bondage is costlier. God is very intentional with timing. He does not rush, and He is never late. What looks like delay is often synchronization. There are many components involved in a single miracle: people, resources, locations, seasons, and spiritual permissions. God waits until all components are aligned. If one element is missing, manifestation can be postponed. This is why patience is not passive endurance. It is intelligent trust. It is knowing that the one orchestrating your life sees what you cannot see. Prayer is not just about asking, it is about becoming. When you pray, you are not informing God, you are being transformed to host what He wants to release. There are dimensions of God you can only access through prayer, and there are results you can only sustain through prayer. Prayer sharpens discernment, strengthens endurance, and aligns desires. Many want miracles but neglect prayer, not knowing that prayer is what keeps miracles from turning into regrets. As this day unfolds, you must learn to pay attention to instructions, impressions, promptings, and corrections. God often speaks in whispers during transition seasons. Loud miracles often follow quiet instructions. Do not ignore the inner witness because it does not come with drama. Spiritual maturity is recognizing God without noise. Sometimes the miracle is not the change around you but the clarity within you. When clarity comes, confusion leaves, fear loses power, and direction emerges. There are battles you did not fight because God fought them silently. There are doors that closed because they would have destroyed you. There are prayers God refused because He loved you too much to answer them prematurely. With hindsight, many will thank God for unanswered prayers. Wisdom is trusting God even when you do not understand His methods. Faith is not demanding explanations. It is resting in God's character. In this moment, heaven is not just releasing things, heaven is watching responses. Gratitude attracts continuity. When you thank God, you acknowledge His hand, and acknowledgement invites repetition. Complaining repels grace because it focuses on lack rather than source. Praise is a spiritual magnet. It creates an atmosphere where God is comfortable. When God is comfortable, miracles become natural. Do not measure your life by comparison. Destiny is customized. What is fast for one may be slow for another because the assignments are different. Comparison births impatience, and impatience produces shortcuts. Shortcuts often lead to detours. Trust God's pace. Speed is not proof of accuracy. Many arrived early and regretted it. God's timing is a protection system. As this season closes, pay attention to the state of your heart. Guard it. Whatever dominates your heart determines what you attract. Fear attracts problems. Faith attracts solutions. Expectation is powerful, but expectation must be rooted in truth, not fantasy. God is faithful, but He is also wise. He gives according to purpose, not pressure. There are miracles that will manifest as opportunities, not cash. Some will come as relationships, not applause. Some will come as correction, not comfort. Do not reject a miracle because it came disguised as instruction. When God wants to change your future, He often changes your thinking first. Transformation precedes transaction. Stay sensitive, stay humble. Stay obedient. Heaven is closer than you think. The gap between promise and manifestation is often a posture adjustment away. God is not withholding, He is preparing. He is aligning hearts, correcting motives, strengthening foundations, and when the time comes, the release will not struggle. It will flow with precision, with peace, with clarity, and with authority, and those who have learned to wait, to listen, to obey, and to trust will find themselves stepping into manifestations that look sudden to observers but were carefully crafted in the secret place. And even as this moment unfolds, there is a stirring in the spirit, a call to deeper alignment, a gentle but firm reminder that what is about to be released must be stewarded with wisdom, because increase without discipline can become distraction, and elevation without intimacy can become isolation. So God continues to work, continues to shape, continues to speak, drawing hearts closer, refining intentions, sharpening discernment, and preparing vessels who can carry glory without losing balance, carry favor without losing character, carry miracles without losing reverence. As the days progress and the atmosphere remains charged with expectation, faith rising, understanding deepening, and hearts positioning themselves for what heaven is determined to reveal next. And you must understand that spiritual seasons do not end because the calendar changes. They end because lessons are learned and alignments are completed. That is why some people carry the same struggle from year to year, not because God is slow, but because discernment has not yet been activated. God will not promote you beyond the level of your understanding. Revelation is the currency of advancement in the Spirit. When God wants to move a man, He first enlightens him. Light is what gives direction to power. Power without light produces damage, but light without power produces frustration. So God brings them together in precise balance. There is a dimension of miracles that only manifests when responsibility is embraced. Many people want testimonies but do not want stewardship, yet every miracle is a trust. When God gives you something, He watches how you manage it. Your response to small victories determines access to greater ones. Faithfulness is not proven by what you desire, but by how you handle what you already have. Heaven observes patterns. God is not impressed by moments. He responds to consistency. That is why discipline is a spiritual force. Discipline trains your appetite, your reactions, your speech, your focus. A disciplined life becomes a safe environment for increase. In this season, God is also restoring spiritual sensitivity. Many have been dulled by disappointment, numbed by delay, distracted by noise. When sensitivity is lost, discernment fades. You begin to confuse good with God, activity with productivity, busyness with progress. Sensitivity is the ability to recognize God's movement even when it is subtle. Elijah found God not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a still small voice. Those who rush often miss God because He is not always loud. Those who are quiet inside can hear Him even in chaos. Miracles are attracted to hunger, but hunger must be pure. There is a hunger that comes from desperation and a hunger that comes from desire for God. One produces anxiety, the other produces alignment. When you desire God above things, things begin to chase you. This is not a cliché, it is a law. The kingdom responds to priority. Whatever you place first gains authority over your life. When God becomes first, He rearranges everything else. Many want God to fit into their plans, but God only blesses what He authors. Surrender is not loss, it is exchange. You exchange control for covering. There are people whose miracles are tied to instruction they have delayed. Partial obedience is delayed obedience. God does not reward intention. He responds to action. Every instruction carries grace for fulfillment. But grace expires when instructions are ignored. Do not spiritualize procrastination. When God says move, move. When He says wait, wait. Timing is as important as action. A right action at the wrong time can still produce trouble. Wisdom is knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. God is also dealing with identity in this season. Many people have allowed failure to rename them, pain to define them, opinions to label them. But God calls things by purpose, not by experience. He does not see you as broken, He sees you as becoming. Identity precedes function. When you know who you are, you will know what to do. Confusion about identity leads to competition, comparison, and insecurity. Security is knowing that God's assignment for you does not need you to copy another person. Grace is unique. Measure yourself by obedience, not applause. There are miracles that come as strength to endure, not immediate escape. Sometimes God does not remove the storm, He strengthens the sailor. That too is a miracle. Endurance is proof of grace. The ability to remain standing when logic says you should collapse is evidence of divine support. Do not despise seasons where God trains your endurance. You will need it at higher levels. Fragile people cannot carry weighty destinies. Pressure reveals structure. God uses pressure to expose weakness, not to shame you, but to heal you. Faith must be guarded. Exposure to fear, doubt, and negativity can contaminate faith. That is why environments matter. Who you listen to matters. What you meditate on matters. Faith is strengthened by truth, weakened by constant exposure to uncertainty. Protect your atmosphere. You cannot expect to see clearly if your environment is polluted. Sometimes the miracle is separation. God removes you from certain spaces so that clarity can be restored. Isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. God is also teaching many how to speak. Words are containers. Life and death respond to speech. You cannot consistently speak defeat and expect victory. Confession is not denial of reality. It is alignment with truth. Speak what God says, not what you fear. Your words give direction to your faith. When you speak, you are either authorizing heaven or empowering fear. Choose wisely. Silence is better than negative speech. Learn to speak with intention. Some miracles are activated through generosity. Giving is not just about money, it is about posture. A generous heart is a trusting heart. Stinginess often reveals fear. When you give, you are declaring that God is your source, not what you hold. God does not need your money, He desires your trust. When trust is established, provision follows naturally. The earth responds to seeds. Whatever you sow multiplies according to kind. This is a law, not manipulation. As this day continues, God is also restoring joy. Joy is strength. When joy is lost, strength is depleted. Many people are tired not because they have done too much, but because joy has leaked. Joy is restored through perspective. When you see God's hand even in difficulty, joy returns. Gratitude fuels joy. Celebrate small victories. Recognize progress. Honor growth. Do not wait for perfection to rejoice. Rejoicing is an act of faith. There are people whose miracles will come through reconciliation. Pride has kept doors closed. Humility opens what prayer alone cannot. God resists the proud not because He hates them, but because pride blocks access. Humility is alignment with truth. It allows God to work freely. Sometimes the miracle is saying sorry. Sometimes it is admitting you were wrong. Peace is more valuable than winning arguments. God is also sharpening vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond now. Without vision, discipline weakens. Vision gives endurance meaning. When you see where you are going, you can endure where you are. Many people quit because vision became blurred. Ask God to restore clarity. When clarity returns, motivation follows naturally. Do not underestimate the power of consistency. Small actions done faithfully produce massive results over time. Miracles often crown consistency. Many want dramatic breakthroughs but neglect daily obedience. Daily obedience builds capacity. Capacity determines how much you can receive without collapsing. God is more interested in sustainability than excitement. As the atmosphere remains charged, there is a call to deeper intimacy. Miracles are not substitutes for relationship. Signs follow those who believe. They do not replace belief. Seek God, not experiences. Experiences fade, relationship sustains. When you know God, you trust Him even when you do not understand Him. That trust produces peace. Peace is not absence of trouble, it is confidence in God's governance. There are destinies connected to your obedience that go beyond you. When you align, others benefit. When you delay, others suffer. Your life is not isolated. God's plans are generational. That is why obedience is serious. Heaven sees beyond your comfort into impact. Purpose is bigger than preference. Remain teachable. Revelation continues to unfold to those who stay humble. The moment you think you know enough, growth stops. Hunger keeps doors open. Ask questions. Seek understanding. God delights in those who seek wisdom. Wisdom preserves miracles. As moments pass, God continues to work invisibly, adjusting details, influencing hearts, arranging encounters, positioning resources, softening resistance, strengthening resolve, and guiding steps. And those who remain sensitive will notice subtle shifts, inner convictions, renewed hope, fresh courage, and a quiet assurance that something has indeed changed, even if circumstances have not yet caught up, because in the realm of the Spirit, movement has already begun. Alignment is taking place. Seeds are breaking open beneath the surface. Faith is being refined. Motives are being purified. And vessels are being prepared to receive without distortion, to hold without pride, to walk without fear, and to steward without compromise, as God continues His work with precision, patience, and intentional love, drawing hearts closer, deepening trust, and unfolding His purposes line upon line. Precept upon precept, as this sacred moment continues to breathe with expectancy and divine order. And so, as this sacred moment settles into your spirit, understand that what God has initiated here is not emotional stimulation, but spiritual activation, not a temporary excitement, but a lasting alignment. What has been stirred within you is an invitation to walk with greater accuracy, deeper trust, and sharper discernment. The heavens are not confused about your destiny, and God is not experimenting with your life. Every delay, every instruction, every correction has been part of a deliberate process to prepare you for what must not fail. Carry this awareness with reverence. Guard what has been awakened. Respond with obedience, humility, and consistency. Do not rush ahead of God and do not lag behind Him. Walk with Him, listen carefully, act faithfully. Let your prayers be intelligent, your faith be patient, and your expectations be anchored in truth. The days ahead will reveal that nothing was wasted, nothing was random, and nothing was late. What has been forming in the unseen will begin to speak in the seen, not with chaos, not with confusion, but with order, clarity, and peace. And as you move forward, may your life become a testimony of alignment, your journey a proof of divine wisdom, and your results an expression of a God who rewards trust, honors obedience, and perfects all that concerns those who stay yielded to His ways.